Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to another exciting Community Club showcase. Tonight we have the Lunar Racing Club featuring Plumeria Knight and Curios here on the Free Enterprise Network. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined on the mic today by Rex Soul. Rex, how are we doing tonight?
Good evening. I'm well. How about you, sir?
Doing fantastic. It's always a good night when we have free enterprise. It's kind of a mild evening, so you could sit out on the porch, drink a beer a little bit. But now we're getting a little bit later, coming inside and doing a little bit of free enterprise. Always a good way to wrap up the night.
Absolutely.
And we have two fantastic runners, both Plumeria and Kyrios, longtime members of the community, of course, running this Lunar Racing Club seed. We have a Palom start, and just a reminder for everyone, if you want to know what the flags are, you can go ahead and ping our bot in the chat. But the essence of it is we have all five objectives that we have to complete before we complete Zeramus, and two of them, the Ribbon Room and Masamune altar, are static, so we are guaranteed to have to go to the moon. It is also K unsafe, so we might see an early darkness crystal as well. Otherwise, nothing really terribly unusual about these flag sets. The other three objectives: Queen, getting into the underworld, defeat the bosses of Dwarf Castle, which seems like a pretty standard route, and defeat Octomamm, which, as a boss hunt for only 5 objectives, seems really interesting and intriguing to me. That could be hiding anywhere, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where we find that.
So, with the boss hunt, do we see our runners going to, like, say, Mist Cave and to Waterfall early? Just to check.
I don't know if it's something that we're going to explicitly go out of our way to do it. I mean, if it really depends on the flag set, and I think we've seen runners in past flag sets where if you have multiple boss hunts, certainly not only are you going to check Mist Cave, Waterfall Cave, things of that nature, but you're going to over prioritize multiple boss locations such as Barren Inn, Mount Ordeals, things like that. Just one boss, I think you're going to hope to run into it along the way and maybe check those a little later. We are off and we have a Rosa to start with. Oh, oh, how's that for early darkness? Huh?
That's moon access immediately.
And I gotta think it's super appealing not only to check what the item shop has up on the moon. We are on S Pro, so um, of course the shops that are gated are going to be weighted a little bit heavier. But there's also a character check that is now free for us up on that lunar dais. So we do see Kyrios. Looks like actually Kyrios is going to go do a little bit of treasure hunting over in Castle Eblin first, while Plumeria Knight is going to be checking what is in the Watery Pass. And we do see an almost immediate reset. The monster boxes are shuffled, so it is important to save and say, "Oh, well, let's check elsewhere," almost immediately.
So, how much time do you spend looting Eblin Castle if it is shuffled like this? Do you try to clear the whole thing?
I think you still try to clear the whole thing. You go until you get enough power to call it good. And this is kind of an interesting trick, is you go until you feel comfortable with what you've looted, and then you leave. And Kyrios, I think he found a dancing dagger and says, "I'm good," because that dancing dagger is enough to get his Palom really online and ready to go. I don't necessarily blame him. I think a couple swings with that dancing dagger, rune ring, dancing, you're good. Uh, you know, obviously put everyone in the back row. We do see Plumeria Knight doing a little bit of extra looting here in the back of the Watery Pass. Nothing quite as good as that dancing dagger, though, to really get things going. Meanwhile, Kyrios is showing us it is the Dark Imps, as well as a Karate Man, Yang, up here. Of all the things, this is probably one of the worst things that we could find up on the mountain, simply because now we have 3 swings of that dancing dagger instead of 2. Everyone else is in the back row. Yeah, might get through here. Hope we can get through it.
It looks like Plumeria's going to go to Damsian. Oh, actually, he's going to go check the waterfall real quick, see what we got there.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's a check, obviously, to see what's going on.
Pale
Just
dim.
finding the pale dim, honestly, one of the lunar bosses that you prefer to see elsewhere.
2 imps down.
Yep, absolutely going to be getting through this. I'm seeing some mute arrows, a black shirt as well in the Damsian basement. I like that Plumeria is taking a little bit more time to loot. I think he'll be in a better position. Although, again, that dancing dagger is going to do a lot of work for Kyrios. Getting his Palom really up to being able to use those level 2 spells is significant.
I did see Plumeria pick up a silence staff, so that'll be useful later on as well.
Absolutely. Right now, we're using Rosa as an archer, which is kind of her dedicated early game role, I think. But later on, that silent staff is perfectly valid end game equipment.
So we get our first check at Lion Cave by Kyrios. It looks like Plumeria's following suit.
Yeah, and we see Kyrios not even bothering to open any chests except for ones that he might be walking right next to, which is an interesting, you see that a lot in T-Pro seeds. If you're in T-Wild or T-Wildish, oftentimes it's worth opening a few more chests here in the Antlion Cave, but T-Pro says, we're not worth it. And we see Plumeria doing a little bit of that looting, and yeah, just diamond shirt, some money, not a lot of value here. And we do have Balnab, which honestly, this is a great pull for, again, Kyrios, anything to leverage that dancing dagger. I think, remember, this entire spot has 1,000 HP or so. And being able to use that dancing dagger split over effectively 3 encounters does make it considerably more attractive there for that dancing dagger to be able to go through. Plumeria Knight, meanwhile, is using rods and I think mute arrows at
that
this
was mute
point.
arrows, I believe.
Yeah, he's in a little bit more difficult spot. He also doesn't have quite the levels that Kyrios found.
And only 2 people, so he doesn't have Yon to help out.
Yeah, I think it's a worthwhile check still to go ahead and try that. Because, with the mute arrows, there's a handful of bosses that all of a sudden you're hitting a weakness for.
So there's your underground access.
Ooh, Kyrios does find that magma key, so we do not... The K unsafe does not come into play. We do have an early underground access, so that's our access to both. We have access to 4 out of our 5 objectives right now at 6 minutes. Now it's a matter of finding Octomamm and finding the levels necessary to beat Zeramus. That's it.
Now, with one of the objectives of being the Queen at Fame Arch, that's known to be a very, very fast spot. What are we looking for in terms of getting set up ready to go down there?
Levels. And that's
straight levels.
Just straight levels. We're probably with S Pro right now, we're going to be checking the shops that are gated in particular. We're going to want to see if there's any sirens available. We're going to check to see if there's hourglasses, coffins, things that can help accelerate our leveling process. Kyrios has 3 characters right now, and frankly, those 3 characters are great carries at this point in time. You have your Black Mage to sweep, you have your physical melee in Yang, and you have a healer in Rosa. Frankly, that threesome is capable of taking on Zeramus on their own if you want to. Now, you don't necessarily want to.
Yeah, not if you can help it, but it's definitely a possibility.
Right. So at this point, we're going to be looking for we're going to still look for our other characters, probably checking the moon. And I see Plumeria Knight is going to the moon. Otherwise, it's going to be checking shops for your grind at this point. And then you're going to be checking all of the high density boss locations at this point. Dwarf Castle is attractive. Mount Ordeals is attractive. Anything to kind of help do the leveling grind as you're going through it.
Alright, so here's the Fame Arch walk by Kyrios. Undoubtedly going to check some information on who the boss is going to be at Queen.
Oh, absolutely. And blessed with it is T-Pro, so you want to check gated treasure chests, and finding that monster box early does indicate that we can open everything else, and that heroin rope immediately is going to make a difference. And a poison claw.
Yeah. Yeah, finding that monster box route for it to be able to reset immediately allows you to go just ham as far as treasure hunting goes, and hopefully pick up some upgrades for your party.
Absolutely. I really think Kyrios is going to be banking on that at this point, and I don't necessarily blame him because I do the same thing. Meanwhile, Plumeria Knight is going to show us what is up on this moon. Sylphs and cabins. Absolutely, I'm loving the fact that we have our cabins available up here on the moon. Not excited about the Sylph because we do not have Iridia yet.
Right. Here's our key item check is the Admin Rock. Fame Arch.
Yep. Meanwhile, Kyrios is going to show us the two bosses, both King and Queen, and it looks like oh no!
Valet Queen is going to be a lot of fun.
Valet Queen is currently the gatekeeper of this seats, as far as
our last check.
Oh, and Plumeria Knight, it's interesting, does find Yang up on the moon. However, I mean, that's still only 3 characters, so there's not going to be a 4th easy character to get anywhere. Super, super interesting in that. So we're still stuck at 3. Of course, we have Dwarf Castle and Baron Inn both available to us yet.
Lots of Honto Steel coming up in Fame Arch proper. There's a power staff.
Yeah, so really kind of interesting divergence here. We have Kyrios opting to get underground. Does look like we're going to do the Sheila check. Maybe pop a couple chests. No, doesn't look like going to take the risk. Immediately going to dive, get the Sheila check, immediately go over to Fabul to do the defense and combo it. Plumeria Knight cabining up and saying, yeah, let's go ahead and check this other character, is going to be disappointed here.
Okay, so he's saving outside, so that'll be instant reset, right?
It really should be. Kyrios briefly checks in with our disabled Yang and says, hey, what you got going on? Okay, I'm out.
Yep.
I love the little pause there from Plumeria Knight. Crosses the threshold, sees the Yang, says, ah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can almost hear the exasperated sigh.
I mean, I've made the same sigh 1,000 times in my life. This is interesting. Kyrios is saying, hey, Power Staff means bonk. But Plumeria says, let's do Dwarf. And there is an Elements fight to reward us with a Dark Knight Cecil, of all things.
Yeah, so Baron N's going to reward us with our 4th character, as he alluded to. Elements should be a relatively quick fight here, with it being 4 stages and only about 1100 HP.
The problem is it's short on HP, but we're really short on damage because we just don't have the levels at this point in time. I think we've only gotten levels from a single fight in Antlion. And that heroine robe does not have enough oomph to get us quite through there, I think. Well, no, because Plumeria doesn't even have the heroine, that's right.
No, not yet.
Meanwhile, Kyrios is doing Fabul defense, comboing this in with Sheila 1. Doesn't quite escape the double, the Fabul combo, but Antlion, this isn't a bad spot for Antlion, honestly.
No, it shouldn't be. The low HP will help out here. You've got enough magic damage to take care of some stuff. Howl with Yon to avoid the counter. You can aim with Rose if you need to. Yeah, you don't have to hit the fight button at all, so this should be a relatively easy fight. Although I think Rose has got the power staff on, so we're going to hit the fight, at least once.
Meanwhile, this Elements fight, trying to work through it, it's a little difficult with the current equipment of the party.
Yeah, we moved the white arrows, which I think helped out a lot on Plumeria's side. Oh, this is not going to be fun, though.
Well, and the problem that we're going to run into is this, because it is a percentage fight, we could probably get through this, but I think we need to let Rosa heal us almost immediately. And Kyrios shows us the Twin Harp from Fabul defense.
So we get a Twin Harp on our first check, and then Sheila 1 shows us Rectail.
Yeah. Another one for the pile up to this point in time. And Plumeria does reset. That is very rough for Plumeria, because that's a lot of time sunk. That's probably the past 2 or 3 minutes sunk into that particular fight on its own to not come out with anything.
So I think Kyrios is going to try his hand at the Baron M check as Plumeria heads underground.
Now, Kyrios certainly has more levels and more equipment, so I think is in a much better spot to be able to handle this particular issue. And does say, hey, either one's. I have a mage. That's beneficial.
It is.
That ogre axe, I don't know if I saw Plumeria Knight checking that axe. That by itself makes me think, yeah, I absolutely want to not only get this Cecil, but get him online and going.
Just one bonk by Rosa and elements are down.
Yeah, I think Kyrios has not only the power staff, but also the heroine robe equipped.
Right.
So he's full ready to go.
So the shop at Tomer is going to show us Illusions crosses the diet food, not exactly your most favorite shop.
No, and if I remember seeing it right, I don't think there was anything necessarily worthwhile in the Faymart shop as well. Cat claws available for sale. That's kind of big, but Plumeria hasn't done enough shopping. Okay, does have enough to say, oh, we can do some cat claws.
Yep. That will help out a ton with your Yang in your party. And a poison claw.
I mean, we just doubled up on cat claws. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was not a hero seed, then maybe put Yang in the middle and use double poison instead.
True.
But
yeah,
I don't think we're in that
Yang
position.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct. Alright, so Lunar is going to make his way down and find the monster box chest right off the bat as well. As Kyrios polishes off the CPU.
That dancing dagger is doing a ton of work for Kyrios in this early game, I tell you what. And that is, that is a veteran move, honestly, on Kyrios' side. Knowing exactly when an item is going to enable him to really launch himself, out of the early game into the mid game. Dancing Dagger is one of those things. If you have someone who can wield it, the overworld is pretty much fine.
So do we go to Ordeals here to go ahead and turn Cecil to Paladin? Make 2 boss checks?
Well, we got the Sand Ruby. I think we probably checked the Sand Ruby spot for our final character. But otherwise, yeah. And, of course, checking the Mist Cave since we're here.
Water Hag.
Worst place for the Water Hag to be.
Right.
Literally worst spot for the Water Hag to be.
I don't know. Water Hag at the cannon room's not fun either. Just to wait.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Okay. That's probably true.
Alright, so who's our character? Another cat claw.
He says, nah, I'm good, Eddie. You can stay taking a nap. We don't want to bug you.
No Rockstar today.
I absolutely want to salute you, Curious. That is, I don't know if I've had that good of a laugh in a little bit. Looking, no thanks.
Mary's going to check our Fame Arch bosses and realize that Queen objective is going to be mighty difficult.
It's times like this where I'm glad I'm on this side of the controller, where I can sit back and say, man, I don't want to do that Queen spot.
I get anxiety just looking at it, though.
Exactly. I'm glad I'm over here. I don't have to look at it. I just have to watch these guys and kind of laugh along with all of chat, going, haha, I'm over here.
Silk webs in the shop proper in Troya.
Doing some equipping over here on Plumeria's side. Again, he hasn't done a ton of looting up to this point in time, but certainly, got a lot of the equipment that Kyrios had gotten in the underworld. First peek here into Dwarf Castle. Gotta be hoping for something here. Asura. Okay. I've not seen any of our J items. I think I need to double check the flag set, but it looks like maybe J items are turned off or not available.
They're not turned off, so we just haven't seen them yet.
Oh man, that emblem has got to be stacked then, right?
Yep. So King and Queen of Eblin, speaking of which, up on Ordeals 1.
Nice and free there, King and Queen Eblin. And this is a decent experience spot. We're at the right spot where, we can get some decent experience off of this.
What happens, Dancing Daggers would be very nice for Palom on the solo mirror room as well.
No, and Judge Joe pointing out on S Pro, the best J items we hope to see are things like vampires or star veils. So that does make sense, yeah.
Yep.
Look, man, don't judge me because I play S Wild all the time.
Yeah. Some of us are still rocking the S Wildish.
I like my power.
Yeah, right. Alright, so on the back check, looks like we've got the gauntlet.
Oh no!
That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
That's to the point that Curio said, it is not worth it. I am done. He's going to bank. At this point, he does not need any more key items unless a key item locks a boss.
Yeah, at this point in time, you say, Cecil, you've been fun, but you're hoping to find characters to replace him now.
E Pro, S Pro, I think there's no limitations in terms of the type of gear that we have available, but Kyrios has made the strategic decision that a Paladin Cecil is not worth it. Um, you know, one, if that key item ends up being anything that locks a boss spot, which frankly, we have Tower Key, we have Luca Key, we have Earth Crystal, we have Baron Key. Lots of things that can potentially lock boss spots. Hook.
Yeah. So, my question, I did not see, I don't think Kyrios saved outside of Mysidia, so is he going up to the top of the moon to see who the character check is up there first to see if he wants to make Cecil a Paladin? Is that the play here? I wouldn't think you reset out of Raising the Whale. That's a long check to reset out of.
No, and I don't think he's going to reset out of this because this is something that has to be done regardless.
Right.
Fluffy Mittens with, of course, the curse that every chat wants to admit.
Oh, don't do that.
Octomamm at Kaipogar. Look, okay, I'm going to say this right now. I've lost a race to Kyrios who checked that spot for a boss hunt. So if anyone in this race were to do it, it would be Kyrios. Because he's beaten me doing that.
Yeah, Kyrios faded it though. You don't want to pick up Eddie. Oh, that's right. On the Kaipo guard spot. Sorry, that's my mistake. That's the package spot, isn't it?
That's the package spot. Yeah. No, I'm not salty. 3 years later at all.
I didn't notice.
Nope, not at all. Anyway, so Plumeria, meanwhile, says, okay, we did our Sheila check, is also going to go up Mount Ordeals. This will be interesting because Plumeria does not have the Dark Knight Cecil. Probably could get through that Baronin now with enough levels from doing the Fabul and all the other gear. So it'll be interesting to see if Plumeria decides, hey, this was worth it. If he does, he'll be relying on Palom to effectively be his sweeper at this point in time to cast black magic, but it's real hard to sweep these particular enemies without virus or quake because half of the enemies in these encounters are weak to fire, the other half absorb fire.
Right. Checking hair dryers. That's what Kyrios is doing right now. Yep.
Oh, that's an interesting play. We don't have an hourglass, do we? I don't remember seeing one. Ooh, that siren is worthwhile though.
Yep.
That's a pull. We do have one.
We have one. This is going to be a big pickup in terms of if he. So all the attacks are queued up. Is he going to live through this though?
Live through, and only Rosa to cast life at this point in time. Ooh, I mean it's an hourglass too.
Now Plumeria did not save before Ordeals 1. Is he going to go save now, or is he going to run right to 2? And he's going to regret this decision very quickly. I'm not as into the nuance as some of these veteran runners. How long is that hourglass going to last? Is it long enough to take these down?
It's going to be tight. I'm really kind of surprised that Kyrios isn't using his bluff ability to increase the spell power. It's very, very slow, but I think we're probably about halfway through, and we've only gotten 2 down at this point in time. So Kyrios looks like he might clutch it out
Right here. There we go.
right there. Meanwhile, Plumeria is working through this alt gauntlet.
I
And
guess. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, that does get Quake Kid online. That unlocks quite a bit. A white shirt for Rosa, and I think the bigger thing is all the levels.
Right. That's basically equivalent to using the Siren down underground as well.
Absolutely. So Kyrios now in a great spot to really do whatever he wants. Not quite enough to be able to take on, say, that Vivala's at Queen spot, which just looks nasty.
Alright, so Ordeals 2 is done on Maria's side. Oh, no. One more fight. I miscounted. We're headed back underground.
Yeah, we are now at the point on Kyrios' side to, as the wisdom says, do your objectives, because they could always lead into something.
Right.
So defeat the bosses of Dwarf Castle. We have a Quake Kid who's online. Yeah, that looks attractive.
And Dave just informed me that I even miscounted even worse. That was only fight 4. So,
Yeah, it's the Red Bones Lilith is the last one. It will be interesting if this ends up paying off for Plumeria Knight, getting through this fight, and if if Octomamm is exactly here, that's huge. Or if the key item that's located here. If not, we certainly see Plumeria getting quite a few levels here. Getting Palom up to Virus is still great, honestly.
officer and soldiers at Dwarf 1. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Baron Guards, I'm sorry.
Baron Guards, yeah. No, and that's fine. This is kind of an interesting fight because it's very punchy. And sometimes you want to mute characters, you want to do what you can, because these guys can be annoying depending on what you got. But as Dave points out, now we know that the officer soldier, because they share the same sprite, is
Right.
at the king spot.
Correct. Only a Bacchus wide on top of Ordeals.
And a Lunar boss. Oof.
Oh, go Pogo. This this could be a problem.
If he's got virus, I think he should be fine. Trying to fight though that first time, that might be a little rough.
There we go.
So the difference here is Plumeria Knight will have a Cecil online. I think this is why he completed it, because he knows that there's a Cecil back in that Baron Inn. I would imagine that Plumeria will head that direction shortly, just to be able to get that Cecil. Kenyatso is the second boss, and Edge.
Question mark? I've seen a lot of Hanzo Steel, but it wasn't any good Hanzo Steel yet. But if we don't plan on making Cecil a Paladin, that's not a bad pickup.
Yeah. Again, just having a couple folks willing to hit physically. We know we're going to have to get through Vivala's that requires some physical attacking regardless.
Yeah, go in the chat. Thunderclaws would be prime here. You don't want those Thunderclaws on Yang and or Edge.
Eh. Thunderclaws or Ice Claws. Remember, Kenyatta is one of those weird bosses that when his wave is up, yes, he's weak to Thunder. When his wave is down, he's actually weak to Ice. Yeah, Plumerian not going to pick up that Cecil, says, let's do our objectives. I respect it. Warp glitch is not turned on, so no need to worry about getting the extra key item from Dwarf Castle that we all did when we were a kid and we wanted to avoid the Luca Cave.
What's Luca got around her neck? A tower key. So do we just go rush the entire tower now?
Maybe. Here's the deal. Like, we have access to 4 of our 5 objectives. I really think it's imperative for us to, if you're these runners, to try to focus on doing those objectives as cleanly as you can, and hunting for that boss.
Yeah, and that's why I was
So-
thinking tower was because we got several checks out tower as far as boss checks go.
Right. It doesn't give you a ton of experience. If I'm curious, I might be spending that siren that I found to try to get enough levels on this particular party. But at the same time, it looks like Kyrios has a plan.
And that plan is to finish Ordeals off. Oh no, turn the rat tail.
I mean, we can't without the hook.
The hook.
So
I was just checking shops. What's he looking for here?
just he's looking for a Thunderclaw. Charm arrows are going to be nice, but he's looking for Thunderclaws.
Okay.
And I think he's looking for Thunderclaws because, first of all, great life potions. Love seeing those. But I think he's looking for Thunderclaws because not only does he have a couple people who can wield them, but he wants to do the tower and open some monster boxes on his way up, but kill them pretty quickly so he can equip himself.
There's your siren use, I think.
Yeah, real hard to blame him on this one. It is interesting, as Plumeria Knight does finish off and completes his Dwarf Castle. It's real interesting that Kyrios has opted to not allow... He's like, I'm not even worried about Cecil. I mean, Plumeria Knight isn't as well, but it's interesting.
He's going back up to the moon.
Fly me to the moon. Something, something to the stars.
It's beneath the stars, I think.
Yeah, I never learned my classics there. I really should if I'm going to sing it and parody it.
Alright, so... Did Curious hasn't checked LST yet, the character check, has he? He just went to the hairdryers.
Correct. He only did hair dryers.
Okay.
And here's Plumeria coming back for revenge to get that Cecil.
Oh, apparently Curious had, as he walked right by the...
Oh yeah, he came and checked the character. Absolutely. I do like this play from Kyrgios because it looks like he is committing to, hey, let's at least check the objectives. If it's something easy, I can get some free experience here. Here's the problem, though. The easy, quote-unquote, bosses, things that you want to see here in the lower spots, things like King, Queen, Evelyn, we've seen. Things like Waterhead, we've seen. Even things that are impacted by an hourglass that you can, manipulate a little bit. Things like Baron guards, things like Officer Soldier, things like Dark Imps. You've seen all of those too.
Yeah, I'm just looking through my box list here. There's really not anything you really want to see here. I mean, even a Wyvern here with Starveil is not going to be great, because I don't know if you can bounce enough damage off.
Right. At least it's giving us a hint as to what's going on. We may not be able to take care of whatever is going on, but we will have, we'll be in a better knowledge position at the end of it.
Alright, so who we got at Ribbon Room? Mylon Zed.
Not bad. Not bad. Fire Claws, White Arrows.
I think at this point in time, as long as you blink up, you're good here, because he's just going to punch it, right?
Right. Yeah, this is actually very doable if we get blinks up on Yang. Yeah, we can cast Virus. Oof.
Those hurt. So Plumeria also said no thanks to Eddie. And I'm going to go do Fabul here. Well, do the Sheila 1 check, I should say. Drake's Glue in the chat.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that Heroine Robe, all we need Rosa to do is blink. Dark Knight Cecil's going to be tossing Cure 2s to be able to really keep things going. This is a really doable fight right now for this party. Meanwhile, we have Plumeria Knight with a Dark Knight, with a Paladin Cecil. Says, what can I do? I mean, we got an Ice Brand. It's not horrible.
Yeah, I think Plumeria, if I'm not mistaken, is partner outside of the castle. Yep. Gotta go do the monster boxes here. See if we can't find us some weapons for Cecil.
Meanwhile, Kyrgios slowly working away. Dark Knight Cecil goes down, but certainly it has control over this particular fight.
First monster box down on Plumeria's side, the Ogres. 16 levels for Cecil. As well as a power shirt.
Great to see that kind of power. Meanwhile, 100,000 experience. That's a chunk of change there
Nothing
for that party.
That. Saw a glass helm over on Plumeria's side. Plumeria's gonna put that on Cecil.
That's what you get for keeping Cecil down. You have a crystal sword to your name, sir.
Uh-huh. It's add insult to injury, right?
I mean, here's the ironic part. He doesn't need it right at the moment.
Nope. And you had to do the fight anyway, so... I mean, at that point in time, it's a really nice dart for Edge.
Right, absolutely. Well, no, Edge can't dart Crystal.
Oh, that's right. He can only dart the Excal. And there's your Wyvern.
Nope. Yep,
At the
that's
White
a
Speeder.
fast research. So that was a worthwhile boss check. Keep in mind, we're still looking for this Octomamm, so it's worth doing some boss checks at this point in time. And here is the Masa altar. Again, worthwhile getting intelligence at bare minimum.
Absolutely. The Lamias are gone in Plumeria. We got Mom Bomb at the Moss altar. And I did not see what that yielded. That was way too fast for my eyes.
Rybon says 43 minutes DKC. Is there something awful at Ordeals? There is a back attack alt gauntlet at Mount Ordeals, which, because we are effectively just in a Octomamm hunt at this point in time, Curios said, "No, I'm set." We have seen what else is on Mount Ordeals. It is not a key item, not any bosses that we're looking for. The only reward is that Cecil, which we do know that a crystal sword is awaiting for us out of a relatively easy, I would say, boss there at the Ribbon Room.
But now it looks like Plumeria is going to go ahead and run the full tower. Got the holy wine at the top of Ordeals. Big nope rope.
Meanwhile, Plumeria, this is going to be our first dive up the mountain. Not checking any of the boxes, does not necessarily care about the improved loot. Again, did all the looting that he wanted to in Ebland and gained the levels necessary. I think his Palam's online, he got his Cecil in good shape, even though he's only got, I think, an Ice Brand at the moment.
Check the cannon room first. We have a Dark Elf. So you have to go through both phases of Dark Elf regardless of the damage you put out, correct?
Correct. So it's going to be hit, transform. Yeah. This is kind of a not solid spot for Dark Elf. Not the worst thing that could be here. I think you mentioned earlier the
Water Hag.
The Water Hag being here, yeah, which sucked.
Yeah, it's more of a nuisance than anything else. I think I've personally gotten the habit of doing the cannon room on the way down. I don't know if that's because I've had too many times where I found the tower key at the top, even though, obviously Plumeria already has it, but I just find myself going to the top and I work my way back down and catching the cannon room on the way down.
And Curios, very impressive showing, does get through that Mom Bomb at the Masa altar. Legend, if he wants to turn in Forge, he can, but this is now effectively just a boss hunt for Curios, only looking for Octomamm. We have a few boss spots to check up here on the moon, but he also has access, again, to the underground. Curios in a straight line lead at this point. With the one disadvantage of, oh yeah, Rosa doesn't know exit.
Yeah. That's Mylon and Friends over at the top of the tower.
I mean, not bad. Could be worse. And Kyrios is going to do due diligence, checking everything on his way out. But
Evil
again,
wall at Crystal Sword. Not fun.
yeah, we're in the position right now from Kyrios' perspective. It is just boss checks at this point. It will be interesting to see if it's here on the moon or if it's gated behind some sort of key item. If it's gated behind something that Plumeria will find, we know that it's not behind the tower key, but
Could be a Magnus still. They both have the twin harp they haven't checked.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that is going to be the last place that we check.
Yep. Or is it going to be Sealed Cave? Because there was no warp. So you get the Luca key.
I
Packet
would
bomb, yeah.
still. Here's the thing: you can reset
Oh,
out of it.
Rabon. That's rude.
Ooh,
That is rude.
ooh, Rybon, I like the way you think.
Oh, we really
Kyrios had it too easy, right? Like, who can go to the moon sub-hour and just immediately get a couple of easy bosses and clear them? Like, yeah, he's got it too good.
Yeah, we really want to be those type of casters. We want to see it hidden behind a unfair boss check.
Look, I want to see all the pain in the world as long as I'm not the one with a controller in my hand.
Yeah, won't really matter if we find the boss KI. Yeah, true. Because obviously, the key item can only be checked, but you end up back at the Dwarf Castle if you warp there. You don't get to check the boss. So now I have a question for you, Vitasio.
Yep.
Can the Luca key, if you have warp glitch on, I doubt this happens, but we'll ask anyway. Is the Luca key available at the sealed cave check? No, I didn't think it could.
I think there's some logic that's built into where things can self-lock if you're not trying to 100% complete the seed. But as a general rule, like, most seeds have to be 100% completable.
Alright, Yang at Mura Altar, which would be good, except we did not promote our DKC. So we're gonna exit out of that.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Going over here to Cave Bahamut, also known within the community as Cave Value, because for whatever reason or another, there's always value here. This would truly be a horrible spot for Octomamm, because it's punchy.
Alright, so we get our peak. It is Bagan. It's Bagan! We'll reset out that one.
Okay, so that was the hook that was found from the Luca key. So we have an opportunity here to check a couple of boss spots. I didn't see at the top of Luca or at the top of Tower who the underground boss was.
I believe it was a Sparkle.
Okay, if it was Sparkle, that's fine.
Looking for sirens here. Tier 3 is no sirens.
No, and I think as Judge Joe pointed out, no sirens are going to be in any shops.
Oh, that's right, Quest Pro.
Yeah, unless it can be in, theoretically, they can be in the Cokel shop.
Alright, so Kyrios finally going to turn Cecil into a paladin. He says enough's enough. So, I'm guessing Plumeria's going to turn the Paratails in.
Yeah, wanted to check shops. Really surprised he's not checking the boss, because Kyrios is also in kind of a find Octomamm for go mode. He hasn't been up to the moon yet, so doesn't have that information. But Kyrios doesn't have any more information than Plumeria does. Oh,
All right, there's a crystal sword. And the package. Oh, uh-oh. Who said, was that Rybon?
that was Rybon. Rybon. Look, I'm not rooting for Octomamm to be at the package spot and for Kyrios to lose a race from an enemy being at the package boss because he beat me. But if it were to happen, I'm just saying.
Fall that way. If the cards, if the chips fell that way.
Look, if it happens, it happens. Okay.
Flurry's checking this cave. We'll see. That's Water Hag. Giant Oh. You know, just when you think you guys are getting nicer there in chat, you gotta pull that out.
No.
Giant 2 Octomamm with a D mist and Giant 1.
I'm convinced that.
I mean, how about DKC and Giant 1? I mean,
look, not that I believe in an afterlife, but if there is a heck out there, I'm fairly certain that the devil takes suggestions by reading chat. Just saying.
Why did Plumeria check package while he was right there?
That scene. He's got too many other places to check. If I were in PK's spot, personally, I would, you've lost a little bit of time. You spent a lot of time on some checks that ended up not necessarily going anywhere, and you had to reset out because you took some bad wipes. Make the low percentage play. This is exactly when you make the low percentage play.
Yeah,
when
so
you know you're behind.
He's gonna check the Ultra the Ribbon rooms first. And hope one of those is Octomamm.
It's interesting because Kyrios is working through this alt gauntlet. I don't feel like he's really made as fast a progress through this, or like with his party and with his levels, it should be going pretty quick. But just from the nature of how everything is set up, it's just not necessarily gone as fast.
I mean, it's still five fights. Still, you've got to wait for it to reload and reload back into it. So.
Yeah, and one of our consistent champions out there, Possumorpheus, is in chat. He makes a good point. If you feel behind, Darkness was our first key item that we got. If you feel behind, you have to make the low percent gambles. You have to, that a runner of Kyrios' caliber will absolutely be running and gunning to the moon and making all the checks. If you're a little bit behind, you have to be prepared to lose by a whole lot, because losing by 5 minutes or losing by 20 minutes doesn't matter. Loss is a loss is a loss. But making the low percent play, that gives you a shot. It gives you a better shot.
So you're saying there's a chance. So let's see. We've got. Oh, where was the pass? I didn't see where the pass was picked up. Was that at?
It's here in the ribbon room. It was a crystal sword in the pass.
Oh, crystal sword was okay.
By the way, our Cecil is crystal sword swinging quad 9s, and he's zerked up right at the moment.
Yep.
This is going to be quite fast.
Plumeria could pick up some ground rather quickly, especially when. Well, I guess now with Cecil and a crystal sword now on Kyrios' side, it's not as big of a gap. But I was going to say that Val fight becomes that much easier now with Cecil online. But
here's the other thing to take into consideration that I don't think we have. Plumeria's got 10 key items while he's doing these checks up here. Kyrios, while he was able to get through, and certainly when he did the boss checks up in the moons, enables quite a bit. But these fights and the amount of, he just doubled his experience from that particular fight, and he's going to get double the experience from this other fight that he's getting ready to do. that's going to have him set and ready to go to Z already for PK. It's really going to enable quite a bit in terms of acceleration. Yeah, and as folks are pointing out in chat, his Cecil has an exit.
Circed up Cecil against the Mom Bomb.
And I see chat asking why Cecil can't dual wield crystal swords. He can. Sword chucks, yo.
There's a flag that does that, right? Allows you to do
I don't know. I'm old and I'm making an old internet reference, so we'll see if anyone else gets it.
You want to double blade play Lufia too. It's been yeah, the ambidextrous flag. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've played Lufia 2. By hot minute, I mean close to 30 years. No, our hero. Oh yes, our hero is Porum.
Our hero is Palom.
Or Palom, sorry, Palom.
Yep.
The only twin we have. Alright, so Moss is cleared now by PK.
Now, I think PK at this point in time is going to do, I mean, the same thing that Kyrios did just a little bit ago. He's going to check all the bosses and then get out. So the exit is going to be mitigated somewhat by the fact that he's still got to at least walk over to the Crystal Sword altar, exit out, then check Mura. Meanwhile, Kyrios is now doing this Mylan fight again. At this point, both these runners have sufficient levels that they're just kind of rolling. The one difference is Kyrios dodging, getting his Cecil online for so long. Meanwhile, Plumeria is, hey, I got a Crystal Sword Cecil, go burn.
Yeah. And again, like you mentioned, Plumeria's got 10 key items. Crystal Sword check coming up from Plumeria. I realize that's a evil wall and a big fat nope.
Really interesting. As much as climbing the tower makes sense on Kyrios' side, I'm staring at that objective number 3 and seeing defeat the queen. Maybe he's nervous about his levels or trying to get his Cecil online.
Well, that's why I was going to ask, because you're not looking for any more key items unless you think that Octomamm is behind one of the key items you don't currently have, right?
Right. Well, I think Kyrios still hadn't been to the top, and there is the hook, so it certainly is right there. So PK at this point in time is going to be exiting out. Again, he's got to check Mura and K value, but I gotta think with the levels that PK has now, he's going to be comfortable enough to take on that queen spot. Remember, we have a Vivala's at queen, which is just nasty. There's no getting around it. It's going to be a pain in the tuchus no matter when we do it. But you know what? PK set up reasonably well for it. Not that Kyrios isn't set up well. I think both runners will be able to get through it. But PK's put more effort into Cecil and certainly has more levels. Crystal Sword Cecil makes a lot of things go a whole lot easier. Jay Brett?
Yeah, Vivalis.
I can absolutely see, PK taking this because wait for this other swing and then say, okay, go.
And that's why I said that was the big bonus for Plumeria having Paladin Cecil as opposed to Kyrios not having Paladin Cecil yet.
I kind of want this to be the Baron Key because Baron Key
the Earth Crystal.
locks 2 spots. Okay, no, never mind. That doesn't lock.
Yeah, but Pan could lead to Baron Key or Earth Crystal, which both have 2 spots.
Yeah. Man, wouldn't that be a trip?
Oh, that would be.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Rando's gonna rando sometimes.
Yes. I still like the fact that it's hidden behind package because Plumeria faded the package.
I'm just saying. I would love that. And you will hear me cackle louder than, and I know I've blown out some of your ears. I know we have a lot of people listening right now. We have a lot of people who have listened to us for a long time. And I've blown out all of your ears before. And I apologize for that. But I want you to know, if it is going to be at the package spot, I am going to howl in laughter.
Oh, wow.
And I want to warn you guys right now.
PK is going to Giant. That's a play.
Giant.
That is a play.
That's a play. Possum, I love you. I just want to put that out there. I love you, Possum. Not that I don't love everyone else too. I love everyone else. But Possum especially.
You said low percentage plays?
It's a low percentage play.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many bosses you don't want to see at the first fight, though. That we still haven't seen.
Baigen was at cave value.
Yep.
So Plumeria is checking this.
You don't want to see DKC, you don't want to see D-Mist.
Yeah, if our Young had gotten a few more levels, I think I'd be more comfortable.
Not even saving, we're just going to check it and go.
YOLO.
Yeah. Meantime, oh, it's Asura. Could be worse. That's punchy. That's actually punchy. Get your blinks up first. Get your blinks up first and then start attacking. It's not bad. Get your blinks up first, then Waller, and then you just go down. I mean, it's not a bad fight at all.
It's also not that high of a magic spot, as I recall. Like it's just got a ton of HP to chew through, is really the problem. And as soon as you throw up a wall, I think you're fine.
So Kyrios is actually going to do the soldier fight first. I mean, why not?
Get a little bit more experience on that, Cecil. Kyrios is now at 10 key items as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Rosa with some mute arrows as well, huh?
Oh, that's right, we haven't learned the wall yet. So we're trying to life lock instead.
Well, we're zerked up at this point in time, so we're committing.
It's racing. We're just racing around.
We're just racing.
Alright, so soldiers are down. For his efforts, Kyrios gets a life staff. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, and as Rybon points out, we've done enough damage. Cure 4 no longer does a full heal. So we're winning, we're outpacing the healing at this point in time.
I think PK is not going to take any chances, though. It looks like he's going to double veil here in a second.
Meanwhile, Curios is going to be doing the Queen, is the first one to be doing the Queen at this spot. And again, it's, man, this Val, punchy.
Yeah, very fast, too. Very fast. Those weeks are coming off very quickly. Second fastest spot, I believe. Right behind Z, correct?
It's up there. Remember, because it's a hero seed, the speed is based on Palin's agility. Woo! At this point, just trying to keep Cecil alive.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Possum. Mr. Down. The Giant 1. It's a lot of experience, but a moot check at this point in time because we're still looking for the Octomammoth. Val is down.
Down. Wow.
A spoon.
Remember that, Edward?
Alright, so we're gonna exit out.
Yeah.
Let's
So
see if the dice roll
saving.
is good.
Let's see. I think he wants to keep the levels regardless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You might as well. But do you exit out if this is an Octomammoth? I mean,
It's interesting. I think he's gonna quake to get the last bit of experience. Kick and quake. So let's review what we have. We have Package Boss, we have Twin Harp. We also have not checked Luca. Anything in Baron or
not.
Oh, folks. We also have the infamous, the incredibly well-known, the Rex Banner.
Zot 1.
Zot 1.
Eddie says, please take me.
It could be Hook 1 as well. Great call out, Naruke.
Yeah.
PK did check Eblin Cave, but did not check that boss spot.
Derek's hold down for the full clear.
Oh, so Curios says, "Hey, we've done enough. Let's check our music."
That sounded like a great plan. Let's do that. Oh, we're doing the package. So PK's going to the package. You like low percentage plays?
I mean, I really do. I'm kind of hoping.
So does he go from here to Zot 1? Or does he go ahead and go through the harp?
I think he's had the harp long enough. He presumes that Curios would have done it. I think he gets the pan. I think
Yeah.
That's a low percent shot. Guys, we're not talking about throwing away any shots. Remember, Mom Spaghetti Club is Friday. If you want to talk about only getting one shot and do not miss your chance to blow, that's Friday. That's, this is Wednesday.
Different club,
yeah, different club.
But in the meantime, I wanted to give my voice a rest. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's time that our resident bard took things over for a little bit.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, dramatic things happened there.
Yeah.
We did check the package box. It was demist, but we reset out of demist.
I don't know why we would do that. That's a check.
Also, Luca Key. Oh my god.
So you fade the package for such a long time. You finally get the package. You see it's demissed. You say, "No, I don't want to check the key item."
I think he was looking specifically
The
for
boss.
the boss and then reset out. Because again, that demist, Earth Crystal, Baron
Yeah.
Key,
Yeah.
Luca Key as far as the runners are concerned. Although Kyrios did just get the Luca Key from the Twin Heart, I got to imagine you got to follow that, right?
No. Looks like we're doing Zot 1. Rex Banner.
Oh, we're doing the right. Okay, that makes sense.
There's a Kane. As much as I love Kane, you can't pick him up here.
Now, Kane, your time has come and gone. Sorry.
I mean, I guess you're doing this because you're already on the blue planet. Why you're checking Zot 1 here?
Well, he's checking Zot 1, I think, in part because he was already, like, in the Troya area.
Right.
And it's a quick reset on.
Because you have to make that walk again if you end up getting the Earth Crystal. That's a, yeah. That's either Plague or the Lunars.
What we do know is this Octomamm is buried. And we thought it might be when we were reviewing everything. I'm a little surprised that PK hasn't gone ahead and done the Queen yet. But I can understand the play.
Yeah.
Ruby.
One is Ruby.
So what do we have? Earth, Baron.
Octomamm and Odin. That's rude.
Yeah, so we have Zot 2, Baron Throne, Basement Throne.
Yep.
And Luca Cave.
And now keep in mind, Kyrios does not have the pan. So if the Earth Crystal or Baron Key are behind the pan, although PK still needs the Valis, so I still think Kyrios is in the driver's seat here.
The further it's buried, the more it gives PK an opportunity. The problem is that right now, Curios, if it's behind a package, like if the pan holds the Earth Crystal or the Baron Key and it's kind of in the path, then I think PK still has the lead because it's going to be a little bit before Curios goes back to the moon to start clearing bosses.
Right. This is an easy reset to the Octomammoth. This is just a ribbon. Leviathan. We're taking this for the experience? Nope, we're resetting out. I was going to say. Alright, so do we turn in package now? We do.
So this will be interesting to see if Curios also resets out.
So PK took the fight and got it out of the way. I was checking to see who the character was for whatever reason. Oh, the boss. Never mind.
Only the boss was in Dwarf Castle. You don't see that boss. Yeah.
You knew that already. Yeah, that's true. If Curious does not land Octomammoth here, you may see Curious go to the Giant, which we know will not yield anything. Which would give PK some more time to catch up. Now, at the levels Curious is, that Giant's going to be rather quick since we know who the bosses are.
Right.
But it still gives PK some chance to come back. Curious, I would imagine is going to take the D nest.
I think so. Now, if it's a dead end, that's just more time that Curios is going to spend that PK said, no, I'm good. It was a risk. I think in any of these straight line races, you have to figure out a way to cut time.
So we'll know here in a second. Yeah, both waterways and Mist Cave were checked already. Now the waterfall spot was pale dim, and Mist Cave's water hag.
All right. Well, we have an encore, so
Some more Chrono Trigger. Let's do it.
a little bit more CT.
Alright, so D-Mist does not yield a key item. Curse Ring could be good.
Yeah.
But here's another check that Curious is going to do that doesn't yield anything for him, so PK chance to catch up here.
So Curios is going to now go check this boss spot. which is fine. I think it's a necessary check. Again, Kyrgios hasn't done anything on the giant, and I do think he's going to do that before he goes to the moon. I think at this point we've confirmed that it's not guaranteed to be behind the pan. Because keep in mind, we have the Crystal Sword altar, we have Cave Value, we have the Murra. Well, the Murra is what we already got.
Yeah.
So there's still lots of other places it could be, but I think PK's path to victory is in that pan. He's going to check the Luca key, and he's going to reset out of this very, very quickly.
Yeah, but it's going to take him 3 minutes to get up there and check it.
Yeah, it could be a Wyvern, because Wyvern was up there, right?
Right. Yeah, the White Spear altar. And then the wall was the Crystal Sword altar, both which are very fast checks. So that cursoring for Kyrgios could actually come into play.
Meanwhile, yeah, we're doing great so far. We're at 124. Keep in mind, I want to give this is, of course, we're getting close to the tail end of our club season. This is the Lunar Racing Club. Every other Wednesday, we'll race here. There's also Asyncs going on. Plug some of the other community club showcases, of course, we mentioned earlier. This Friday is our Mom Spaghetti Club race. Things are generally a little bit faster. But we also have a ton of other clubs, even some new clubs that are starting up, just trying to get their feet underneath them. Feel free to join us over in the Discord. We would love to have folks, if you're a fan of Free Enterprise, if you've been watching for a while, great, exciting things are going on in the Free Enterprise community. We'd love to have you over on the Discord just to chat. We don't bite unless you consent. We're big on consent in the community.
Alright, so PK is finally going to go down and take care of Val. Kyrgios doing the giant checks. So Kyrgios will finally get the pan.
Well, the pan, remember, comes from the Murra altar.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
So this is an empty check.
Dead check. Yeah, it's a dead check.
Well, it's going to get him a lot of levels, is what it's going to get him. Even more levels than he's already got. It's Zot 2, Baron Throne, Baron Basement, or...
yeah. Behind Wyvern. White Spear. Or Evil Wall.
Well,
no, you're talking about for Octomamm, huh?
Yeah, I'm talking about Octomamm. Now, the Earth Crystal or Baron Key could be behind one of those spots. Absolutely. Right.
So we haven't seen DKC yet. We haven't seen Odin yet, have we?
Have not seen Odin, have not seen DKC, have not seen Golbez.
No. We haven't seen the sisters either.
I think no matter what happens, we're gonna find something nasty in our way. Sisters is Baron 1, yeah.
Oh, that's right. We saw it on the start. And if I just looked down at my notes, I would have known that. Getting too sucked into the screen here.
You keep notes? Wow.
You keep notes. I'm a newbie.
You're so much better than me than this.
This is only my second shot out here. I've got to take notes still.
You know what I do when I think I need to take notes? I just turn to Stony, our wonderful tracker, and I go, "Hey, Stony, what did I miss? Please tell me." And usually they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, big shout out to Stone E Tracking. Also, Ninja Dave, who's on the restream for us tonight. Thank you so much. We always need more volunteers for putting on these races for the community club showcase, and of course, whenever we get to tourney season, we also would love to have some more folks to help us put that on. So feel free to join us over on the Discord, and if you feel like asking, say, hey, how would I like to be able to help out? You can look for me or any of the other Restream leads. We would love to have you and talk about that.
Alright, so PK's through the Val fight. Now we're just chasing to find Octomamm now.
Oh, and of course, Dave, our restreamer, is pointing out, yeah, that spoon's nice, but we don't have the spoon flag on. Eddie is completely worthless.
That's a quad 9 dart, though.
Yeah, that's got Z-Man's name on it.
Yep. Alright, so PK's gonna be disappointed with the return off of the soldiers here. Now PK did not check the demist. We know that.
I think at this point he's checked all the bosses he can check. Turn in the pan. Turn in the pan.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, and this is because I'm new and I haven't run thousands of these seeds yet. My tracker tells me if I haven't done my demist check yet or not. So
right. Yeah.
I don't see that on there. I don't know if does he remember that he reset out and has to go do that still. But yeah, this pan's gonna be 2 checks: the bonk and the turn in.
Right. We've already checked Sheila 1. That was part of kind of our initial pass through Fabul. We did get that early magma key, so that's probably dissuaded him from doing that. Now, if this is either the Earth Crystal or Baron, I got to imagine he beelines it there first.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, swing a whisk on that one.
Zonk.
So we're going straight to Fabul from here.
So is Sheila 2 the answer?
She got the goods.
Either Earth or Baron. That's what we're hoping for now. And let's face it, I think everyone in this community has had a seed like this where you don't have a ton of objectives, but whatever the last one is, it is buried deep somewhere.
I feel like this is every single seed I play, to be honest. I feel like every single seed does this to me. She doesn't want the life potion. She wants the pan. Avenger. It's a good we reset out?
Yeah, no,
that's a good consolation prize.
No, not worth it.
No, it's not. At this stage. It's not. So where is it?
Oh no. Oh no, PK is gonna go back and do.
It's gonna be behind the Wyvern or the Evil Wall.
Gonna be behind the Wyvern or the Evil Wall. Now here's the thing: Kyrios is going to the moon, so Kyrios has a beat on it.
Yeah,
Wyvern or Evil Wall or Bygin,
yeah. Bygin, yeah. I don't know if maybe because I'm a new runner, but I don't have an enemy reset out of an Avenger. I see Avenger, my eyes just get white as saucers. I know statistically it's the right play to reset out of that because you save yourself the 10 seconds, and PK probably thinks he's behind. Especially now he has to make the demist check again.
Yeah, and this is an awkward demist check because, you go, turn it in, kill the boss, you have to go through a couple cutscenes to get it, and then you can't even walk back. You have to,
No, you have to fly back over.
You have to hop over. All right, and Bigan, this is
Oh, this
a
is gonna
fun
hurt.
spot for Bigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt. This is not a walk in the park. I mean, we've got Quake. That's why I was gonna ask, do we dart the spoon to this one?
I might, honestly. Yeah. And Possum makes a good point, and this is something that I think would-be runners or would do well to listen to. We're gonna dart everything. Edge is just a dart master. He's gonna throw the spoon. He's gonna throw everything else he has. If this isn't the answer, we can reset out, and it's fine.
He gets the kitchen sink back. All right. Survey says already arrows. Not the answer. So now we're down to Evil Wall or Wyvern, both of which Kyrios has the curse ring.
Yeah, this is kind of intense. Here's the interesting thing. Kyrios is not going to go bottom up. He's going to go top down because he's already done the bottom stuff.
Yep.
So the top down is going to give him the pan first, which if he does what I think he's going to do, he's going to exit out and save scum and go check the pan then.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you absolutely chase that pan.
So PK's got the curse ring now. So now it just becomes a race to the last couple bosses now.
Yeah.
That
Well,
lead that
and
Kyrios had evaporated.
and it's going to be real interesting to see how this happens. Does look like PK is going to go ahead and do K value first, but I got to imagine a quick reset out. He's going to do this almost exactly like Kyrios did.
Alright, so here's your pan. Cecil exit. As you said, we'll save and then head back down to Blue Planet, right?
Yep. He will save scum right here.
Yep.
Go down, turn them both in, and as soon as he sees Kyrios will also reset out of that adventure. I promise you. Now it does look like we are not seeing darts on
You're not.
on this side. So yeah, we have PK. No, just letting them swing. Okay.
Yeah, you're just letting Cecil tear everything down.
Reasonable plan, all things said. When Cecil is swinging and swinging that hard, from a damage per second perspective, it's really hard to do anything else.
Alright. There's one arm. The explosion. Nope. No swing. There's reset out by PK.
All right, so in the straight line lead, PK has taken, I think, a bit of a straight line lead at this point, knowing what we know. Keep in mind, he was certainly behind, I would say, even an hour ago, but he committed to getting his Cecil online and swinging that crystal sword a lot earlier than Kyrios did. I want to say that's the difference in time right now, but it's not a lot.
No, it's not, and I'd like to. I'm not going to speak out of turn, but I'm going to anyway. One of the things that several of the veteran runners have told me as a newer runner is if you have a chance to get Cecil, and a chance to have Cecil with a crystal sword, you do it. And I think that commitment by PK is paying up in spades.
I think that's a great perspective and absolutely correct. If you have a chance to get a crystal sword Cecil, you take it. At the time that Kyrios made that decision, I think the best weapon that we had for our Cecil was an Ogre Axe. So I do not.
Ogre Axe or Ice. Yeah, Ogre Axe or Ice Blade, one of the two. It was something very similar. But no, I don't fault it for fading that check at all, especially
Right.
given the fact that it was the gauntlet. But I was surprised to see him take so long to go back and complete it, though.
Yeah, a little bit. That being said, we these two runners are literally like less than a floor separating them on the lunar subterrain, and we have PK. Looks like he's going to go down and do the White Lands
Spear
altar first.
I mean, all things considered, Wyvern's probably easier to fight out of the two.
You know what, Nitsky 1, you're new to Free Enterprise entirely? Well, welcome! Never heard of you before. We always welcome new people. Welcome. This is Free Enterprise. We're a randomizer for Final Fantasy IV. We're deep in a seed at this point in time. We are hunting for Octomamm. And at this point, we've determined Octomamm is either in the Tower of Zot behind the second boss, or in one of the two hidden locations in Baron Inn, both of which we can't find. Yeah,
Alright,
Seed
so
is
both
winning. That's a great way. Yeah.
Yeah, Seed is definitely winning. The low magic spot. Both Young and Cecil lived on PK's side. Not so much on Kyrios' side. And there's your spoon dart. Alright.
PK's through. Gosh, I still think you got to save Scum. If this is either the Earth or the Baron key, I still think you have to save Scum. It's the Earth.
Man.
It's the Earth. Save and get out of here.
Yep.
He's exiting. Oh, this is dangerous.
No, it's fine. Because he had the crystal sword butler, didn't he? Yeah, I got over the river room, saved, then got out. This is very dangerous.
Oh, he does have a save. Okay.
Okay. Oh, he saved before the fight. Okay. Curious, try number 2.
This is the part of the scene, if you're running and you are last locationing, but you haven't seen a dot done yet, oh my goodness, you are feeling nervous. Raise your hand in chat if you've been in that position. You're last locationing and it's a super buried thing. You've done 17 to 17 just about cleared everything out. You're like, why hasn't my opponent finished yet? What's going on? And there's still no dot done yet. You're at an hour 42.
I'm just thinking to myself, an hour 42 is a good run for me. If that's taking these guys an hour 42 to do this run, I can't imagine what it would look like me running this. This is absolutely insane.
there are some seeds out there that even the top runners will struggle to get sub 2 hours. Absolutely. And here's the thing. This is supposed to be fun for all of us. I mean, none of us are making any large amount of money doing this or anything like that. We're all having fun. So the point is to have fun and enjoy it the entire time. So don't stress out too much. Just have fun. Until you get to the point where you watch Possum Morpheus and Rybond in the finals and go, how do I get that good?
Yeah. So Plague is down, so Zot 1's complete. We're about to find out if Zot 2 is our answer. Looks like Kyrios also decided to fade the evil wall and is going to check Zot as well. So we could see both runners going back up to the moon in a second.
Now, best case scenario, this is our Octomamm, and we get to go back immediately. Both runners have the pass, so we wouldn't go back up to the moon at all.
Right.
Worst case scenario, this is a Zonk.
And then you go back to Evil Wall for the Baron Key. And then the question is, do you check the basement first, or you do Baron 2 first?
I think you check the easier one, let that cutscene play out first, honestly.
There's Octomamm.
There's Octomamm. Okay, we're good.
Zot 2.
So this chain was...
Yes, Fluffy would have been a key item check for Baron Key. That could have been a possibility as well.
Behind Wyvern with Mega Nuke. This is the Lunar Racing Club, so it makes sense that it was right next to two of our other objectives that everyone just dodged. Remember, we had the Darkness Crystal from the word go. Everything else in this seed has been superfluous.
And PK's just mashing his A button right now, right? Just mashing it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He did not have the Earth Crystal yet. So both runners, Angaseth went up to do what we call the Rex Banner check, named after one of our runners who went up to... You can check Zot 1 without having the Earth Crystal, but you cannot, which is different from Vanilla, because once you go up to Zot in Vanilla, you can't go back down. But in Free Enterprise, you can. So you check Zot 1 without the Earth Crystal, just see who the boss was, exit it out, and now they got the Earth Crystal from the Wyvern. So now they check Zot 2.
Right. The boss right there, the Kenyatsa that you see, that is a boss that is located in the Golbez spot in Dwarf 2. So now...
I was saying, where are we going?
Oh, crap. I have a thing I have to do. Okay. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen of the Free Enterprise community, we are Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. We're a randomizer. We like to randomize all sorts of things. We like to randomize the treasures. We like to randomize the bosses. We even like to randomize the different flag sets that we have going on. The one thing, however, we cannot randomize is the Zeramus person, character, and boss thing. Just a little too complicated, and no one wants to see a Big Bang in the Antlion case. So, what's the randomizer community to do that likes to randomize things? Well, there are something to the tune of more than 600 different sprites curated by our community that Zeramus can transform into once you use the crystal on him. So, we have a little saying here.
when you use the crystal? And that question in chat is represented by these Z flags, and that Z flag does mean, whose butts are we gonna kick tonight?
Very well done. Very well done.
And yeah, there's a bunch of other questions that I choose to ignore, chat, because I don't want to dilute the power of whose butt.
Could be Bowser. It's Bowser, right?
I think Bowser's in there. Oh, that's what is that?
That's. I'm getting shades of my childhood. I know again that's from
Zelda 2. Okay.
Yeah. Couldn't remember if that was 1 or 2. Alright. So we're using Bacchus Wine and Yang, which will give. Okay, so Palom is using the crystal to trigger the nuke, which does what?
So
For our new runners.
So for our runners who have never seen this, by casting some sort of spell on Zeramus, in most of the rest of the time, the timing matters, but in the first part of it, having him cast a spell and then cast the counter nuke actually nerfs his Big Bang spell power. So when he casts the Big Bang, what you're going to see is it's going to have its power severely reduced. It's only going to do 300 to 600 damage or so to all of the runners here. Normally, it's pushing almost 2,000 damage. But there, yeah, we can brush it off. Now, to nerf it otherwise, you have to get a spell off exactly after he shakes. So the timing can be a little bit difficult to line up, and even experienced runners can struggle with that from time to time. But the first nerf of the Big Bang is relatively straightforward, relatively free, if you will. Just get a spell off before he casts Big Bang, and you're set.
Alright, so it looks like Curious is joining in. But this is basically PK's race to lose now.
Don't ever say that. It can always happen.
No, it can always happen. I've seen
never
it.
free. Yeah.
I have been a victim of it as well. There's not a large enough HP pool in the world.
Looks like we have a phase change. Curios does get his Z fight going. The fact that both runners are sitting at 1 hour 50 minutes and are both in Zeramus at the same time, kudos to both Plumerian and Curios for just an amazing race. This was a slog. It's never necessarily an easy time getting through something like this, but they put on one heck of a race for us. So get your GGs ready in chat. The shakes and the crash boom bangs are coming very shortly.
And there's Rocks on PK's side.
Rocks on PK, that's the final phase. We are just about finished. Didn't even see a second Big Bang.
No, sir.
We got levels. We got levels for days.
And there it is.
GG's now. Congrats to Plumerianite, our winner of tonight's Lunar Racing Club. 1 hour, 51 minutes, 36 seconds. Again, it was a slog, but GG's to PK. Coming back from behind, I would say. I think that's a fair statement to make.
It's a very fair statement. Yeah, and I don't think, I think Curious maybe a minute 10 behind.
Maybe. It's not going to be... He's almost through himself. And we are now joined by Plumerianite now. GG's. That was a bit of a slog, wasn't it?
Just a little bit, yeah.
So tell us from your perspective. I know you didn't get to see, Kyrios through the race. Did you have a sense of where you think the race turned, or any significant differences that you might have had, or anything to tip you off one way or the other?
Uh, well, I mean, missing that crystal sword would definitely hurt. Missing that curse string also. I was ready to reset out of that, and I missed it the first time. I was just looking for tentacles, and suddenly it's demissed, and I reset, and I'm like, well, there goes that chance. But I don't know exactly where the turning point might have been.
Honestly, it's kind of tough to tell because from here it looked like Kyrios had a little bit of an edge on you in the first half. Honestly, he kept his missile knocked over when he went to the moon and didn't have 10 key items. He went earlier hoping to get some free bosses up there. Certainly did get the free bosses, but
Yeah,
you went up there with your Cecil fully activated and with 10 key items, so you just kind of steamrolled the rest of the seed while he struggled, I think, here and there to that point.
Yeah, I think you both faded Ordeals when you saw.
yeah, I can definitely see that.
And then you were quicker to go back and complete the gauntlet to go ahead and get your Cecil to a Paladin state and go get him online. That's why I think getting Cecil online and that 10th key item was large. As you started clearing bosses on the moon, having that 10th key item helped out tremendously.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I was ready to. I was thinking pretty much probably go mode, but I was still looking for key items. I was still looking for power. I mean, I had very little. I had middle short for edge and like an ice brand and mute arrows with a great bow, which even with the heroine robe, it's none of that is fun. So I didn't really want to go up to the moon until I felt like I was in a better position to check more boss spots. So it was definitely there was a lot of decision making going into that, and I mean it took me quite a while, but we got there in the end.
Absolutely. Is this how often are you doing the Lunar Racing Club? Pretty frequently, right at the moment, or?
No, this is the first time I've done it in quite a while.
I was just shaking off a little bit of rust there. This is a heck of a
Yeah,
seat to
for
do that.
sure.
So for those people who don't do these one-on-one races on a regular basis, when you look at the clock, or do you even look at the clock first off, and second, when does your heart start to race more and more as you know that clock's getting up there, you know that your opponent's probably making the same checks as you, and it's coming down to the last check. How does that feel as a runner?
Well, as long as I don't see the done, I always feel like there's a chance. But for today, I would say at about the 50-minute mark, I was starting to sweat because it was magma darkness. As long as you don't fade Antlion, you just got everything. So you can pretty much do whatever you want. There's a soldier fight in Fey March that's pretty free, and then tons of free stuff on the moon. A couple of easy fights at least. Yeah, and just you can pretty much do whatever you want in any order.
Absolutely. At the end, we were talking towards the end. It seemed almost fitting that the Earth Crystal, which held eventually our access to Octomamm, was actually right up on the moon, right next to the other key item locations that you guys had to do anyway. So Lunar Racing Club kind of holds its name true.
For sure, and that wyvern is not free, so it's not a witch burn, and goodness gracious, without a curse string or enough HP to tank that, you're not getting it first try anyway.
Oh, I will tell you, Kyrios did have to take a wipe on that fight, and that may have been quite the edge you needed to get up to the Z fight quicker than he did.
Yeah, I was suspecting that when no one was finished. it kind of made sense the longer the feed went on that it was going to be the Wyvern.
Well, GG's. Fantastic run.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the restream. Shout outs to the team, NG Dave, Sony, Vitasia, and Rexel. Thanks a lot, everybody.
And GG's to you, Plumeria. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that was our winner, Plumeria Knight. It appears Kyrios has accepted, and looks like we are now joined by Kyrios. So GG's, that was a bit of a slog there, wasn't it?
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was not my favorite seed, but that's going to happen sometimes with boss hunts and fives.
So GG's, that was a bit of a slog there. Yeah, the 5 out of 5, and the worst thing is 4 out of those 5s just immediately darkness magma, boom boom, like right out of the gate.
At that, you're like, is this the fabled sub-hour LRC seed?
And to your credit, it felt like you were kind of on track for that for a little bit. I think that dancing dagger that you pulled from Evelyn Castle did a lot of work early game. You went to the moon relatively early, and it wasn't necessarily difficult bosses. You had the strength to get through them at a relatively low level and get some levels to keep you going.
Yeah, I did way too much shopping on the overworld because I was looking for life potions and thunderclaws, assuming that with that start I was going to end up on Mac Giants. And then when that didn't happen, I had Cecil, I had the Ogre Axe. I'm like, okay, let me go up Ordeals and I can do Mac Giants that way. And then it's back attack at the second spot. And that was really the turning point of the seed, because if that's not back attack there, I think I get through Ordeals pretty easily. I just didn't want to spend the time. It didn't feel worth it without the Holy Sword. And of course, you never see Holy Swords on T-Pro, so there were 2 Crystal Swords in pretty easy line here. But the path without that is I go to the Giant, I do Mac Giants, I get levels right away, and then I just sweep the moon pretty much, because everything's so fast at that point, and it's a much smoother seed. But everyone running had to deal with it. It was just a kind of unfortunate layout in terms of what was where.
Right, we were commenting on it, and I think in 90% of the seeds, that's the correct play to make, honestly. It just didn't necessarily pan out because at that point in time, it felt like you had kind of an edge. You had to done more checks. You had done kind of a little bit of everything else. The 2 major differences is PK got his Cecil online pretty quick, and that Crystal Sword fell right in line relatively quickly afterwards. And then when he went to the moon, he had 10 key items. So it doubled all those experiences. So it just really kind of accelerated things going at that point from him as well. So otherwise, you saw the end times. It was a tight race from start to finish.
I said the other thing I'm curious is, like I said, I wonder if he shopped as hard on the overworld, because that's not something I really like to do in seeds. I kind of felt backed into it here a little bit by the party and by the item setup. But that was another place I just kind of spewed 2 or 3 minutes checking every single shop for, I guess I got life potions, hooray.
Yeah, I don't think the shopping was as intense on his end, but he did go for the lower percentage checks earlier, which kind of took him out of his routing path, if you would. So he took Giant pretty early. He took the Zot 1 check pretty early, because I think he felt like he was behind. Because he also did fade Ordeals early on.
It was a fun seat to run. You get to try some stuff that you don't always get to try with some of these other flag sets, and you get to learn. Especially the early moon there. There's just not that much reason to be scared when you have Blink and you have a backroad melee character. Some things are going to be slow, but 80-90% of the fights you'll have a way through. This didn't turn out to be the fastest way through the seed with how Cecil was laid out.
And of course, the answer ended up being right next door, of course, to the other 2 lunar objectives.
Yeah, I had a hunch on that because once you're sitting at 145 and nobody's done, I was kind of hoping it was Giant 2, because again, I could see a world where you do Mac Giants and you get into the Giant, you just don't want to do Asura because that fight is so gross. But as soon as it wasn't Giant 2, I'm like, it's just gonna be Wyvern, isn't it? Because that's the one that no matter when you go to the moon, you're leaving that there till the end. Now, it was nice that the curse ring was just sitting there on Rydia's mom. I did not expect to keep a non-key item out of that check, but yeah, sure, okay.
It helps. Well, we don't want to keep you too much late, Curios. Any other final thoughts on the seed or the club as a whole?
No, GG PK running a good one. More people should run these. They're kind of fun. The downside is occasionally they do take 2 hours, but they are a really good way to kind of just learn what's going on with stretching yourself for some of the fights at the more difficult spots, or just more difficult fights at troublesome spots. Like when the hook routes come out, that's always big too. So yeah, LRC, good club to play once in a while.
Absolutely. Well, GG's to you, and have a
GG's,
great rest of
Curios.
the night.
Thank you. Good night. Thanks to the whole team. Bye.
Well,
All
that was
right.
exciting.
Yeah, it was just a fantastic run overall, and a great example of Lunar Racing Club overall as well. But that's going to do it from those of us here at the Community Club Showcase featuring the Lunar Racing Club. We want to give a shout out to, of course, all of the folks behind the scenes who helped put this race on. We have Stony, who did our tracking, Enja Dave, who did our restreaming for us, and of course, my co-commentator, Rexel. I'm glad we finally got a chance to work together, man.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this together for a while. So happy we got to do. That's going to do it for those of us tonight. I'm not going to raid anyone. So have a great rest of the night, everyone. Thank you so much for subscribing. Make sure to join us over on our Discord, and we'll see you at the next race. Take care.
Take care.